So my name is Patrick Morris. I'm co-artistic director of Menagerie Theatre Company.
And I'm Hilary Cox Condron. I'm an artist, activist, former politician and storyteller.
The project as a whole, it's called The Trials of Democracy. Who gives a 4X?
Yeah.
It's a public art project which explores our relationship to democracy, what democracy means to us in our hearts and our souls today.
And how we practice everyday democracy, and the outcomes were very much developed alongside the public and the creative interventions that we've had over the past year.
So we were both coming at it from our practice and our life experience, really, and coming out of the Brexit fiasco and what led after that, what happened politically in this country after that, the rise of extremism, of populism in Britain, in Europe, around the world, really made us think about, well, what does democracy actually mean anymore? And how might we, through our artistic practice, address those questions?
It's over 3 years, I think, since we first started having the conversations, and we couldn't have imagined really the situation that we're in now and just how critical it is to make space for these conversations and connections in talking about democracy and nurturing our democracy, fighting for our democracy.
As the culmination of the project, Hilary and I worked within our own art forms to bring the project to a climax. And my role in that was to write a play and to direct it down at the courtroom in the Cambridge Guildhall.
All right!
So I started writing this back in the early part of this year, of 2025, and that was after we'd done some initial workshops and after we'd also started our street encounters, where we would just set ourselves up outside the Guildhall in the Market Square and have people talk to us about what democracy meant to them. And these encounters led to the writing of the play, which eventually had a title called The Dazzle. And really, for me, that meant focusing in on the role of distraction in modern democracy.
So, why should I believe you?
Both how we get distracted on an everyday basis, on a personal basis, but also how we get distracted collectively. So we had 4 professional actors and 6 actors from the community, all of whom auditioned to be in it. A central character of the play is a local democracy journalist. She writes for the local paper in this fictional town of Craven. The play follows her as she gets sucked in to the world of high-tech billionaire media moguls and somehow gets corrupted by that.
What have I done? I'm cold. All of a sudden, cold.
And then eventually uncorrupted, as she finds where she stands for. Parallel to her, there's a local council planning committee, many of whom are fighting amongst each other, who are making decisions about a very important issue. So the play has some realistic bits, it has some fantastical bits, it has songs, it has music. So ideally it entertains, and ideally it also informs, and really the main thing is that it actually engages people with what's going on in their lives.
I think we've got a serious democracy deficit in Cambridge, and so someone coming along and writing a play like Patrick's done is really, really important.
They are really doing something which is practical at the level of the people, bring the participation, therefore bring the voice.
We're at this really tumultuous time, and you've got big players like Elon Musk and whatnot, benefiting as we do all dance around like puppets. And I really thought that scene where they danced was just so real.
Breaking out of character and into different worlds, it was really poignant for me because democracy is kind of that in-between reality and imagination.
As part of the pop-up interventions that we've been doing, I spent quite a bit of time dressed up as an Agony aunt in town, asking people how their relationship with democracy is going, which really made me think about the qualities that we're looking for in democracy and the environment that we need in order for our relationship with democracy to flourish. The comment that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, really felt like it encompassed this part of the project. So with that in mind, I put together the centrepiece of a table of democracy, creating these plates depicting the qualities that we need to have in ourselves, that we need to demand from society and from government. In the centre we had a geodesic bowl of democracy. Lots of people sent in these triangles and their artwork depicting what democracy meant to them. I also created a table that depicts the fault lines in democracy, the idea that if you dine with the devil, you'll need a long spoon. So how those different elements such as corruption and greed and distraction play into our everyday lives. I had another table that was really about collective imagination. That was made with many words that gathered from interviews and obviously these conversations I'd had as Agony aunt, and invited people to write and draw what they would like in the future. I made ink from oak galls. The Magna Carta was written in this ink, the Forest Charter, the works of Shakespeare. And then we have a few fun things that we're inviting people to do, such as badge making. Badges have always played a role in being able to say actually what it is that you want, being a form of identity, a form of rebellion.
Doing something like this which kind of engages some level of angst but also hope and thinking about engagement with democracy in a different way. It's a really cool idea.
I was interested coming here to see other people's experiences and opinions of it because as someone who sees it as a good thing and something that we can do good with, I find it interesting to come up against other opinions.
It's been super fun to look around. I just thought it was such a beautiful open space.
I think what's nice about this is anything that's free is always good for young people.
I'm really hoping that what we do at the weekends is to create this creative space for people where they can imagine different futures, can imagine better futures, and can ponder what democracy means to them. Coming back to what we're aiming to do with this project, which is to look at our relationship to democracy.
There's huge feelings of despair at the moment, but actually by being a part of the conversation, by getting involved, observing, making these connections, that in itself is strengthening our democracy and is a democratic act in itself. Acting as citizens and residents and friends and neighbours together.